Okay, so yesterday we talked about a couple things: blinding, double blinding. We talked about those concepts, placebos, placebo effect. The big thing we talked about was block design. Block design is a type of experimental design, right? It involves blocking, moving groups, splitting groups up before you do an experiment, right? The one we did about the shower, the shower temperature, right? We did twice. We did the same exact experiment. I just did it twice because I only wanted to compare male data with male data and female data with female data. I didn't want to compare males and females. I wanted to look at their data separately. Okay, so if that ever happens, we do what's called blocking. Blocking is just do the same thing. It's not like you're doing anything different. You're just not combining men and women's data. Okay, that's what we did blocking. It's still random. We still did random assignments. There's still RA and RA, right? Always there. Always RA and always RA. Without that, we wouldn't have an experiment. Okay? So the last one we are going to look at today, or in this chapter, is something called match pair. Okay? Match pair. What is match pair? Well, match pair is a type of block design. It's a special type of block design. Okay, still random. We still do it, still randomization, but it compares two treatments by comparing the response of two matched experimental units. Units are matched one of two ways: either two different unit or subjects based on similar characteristics, twins, people who are the same height, people are the same weight, people who are the same age, some sort of similar characteristic. Okay, you match them against each other to see who reacts, how do they react differently. Okay, or the more common one is one person is paired with himself, so one person goes through the whole experiment both times and then their results are compared. Okay, so if one person does both things, here there was 50 people, 25 of them had the adjustable shower, 25 of them had the shower they couldn't change, right? The top 25 didn't, so these guys up here only had the adjustable shower. They didn't experience the non-adjustable shower. Vice versa here. These guys only had the shower with no nozzle on it. The other ones didn't, okay? So what match pair would be is each person would go through both processes and you'd compare each person's results versus themselves, okay? How did they do in this one? How did they do in this one? Compare their results against each other. You don't compare me with anybody else except myself. That's what match pair design is. Okay? Match pair. That's why the first two words, matched pair. You're matched or you're paired with somebody who's similar or yourself. Okay? We're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're actually going to talk. That's our first example. Our first example is doing the same thing we just did with the showers, except instead of match pair, using match pair. We're going to talk about that too. Yeah. So there's a couple things about match pair. Randomization is still used to determine which treatment gets. So we still do randomization to see which gets which treatment or which one gets which treatment first. Remember, if I'm paired with someone who's similar to me in some way, age, gender, height, weight, something, if someone's paired with me, right, I'm only going to experience one shower. They're going to experience the other shower. We're going to compare our data. Nobody else's data, just our data. Okay? Or another way to do it is me compare with myself. One day, so the question was there are two types. Let's see, the setup was people who just exercise. So if I just exercised, they tell me one day I'm going to go to the shower. Okay? The next day, you go to the other shower. Okay. So randomization is still needed, but you're only comparing your data with yourself or your pair, whoever is paired with you. Okay. Most of the time it's you're paired with yourself, because who are you more similar than in this world? Yourself, right? Yourself. You're more similar. So it's not really that great if they get someone who's my height, my weight. We still have lots of other differences, right? So that's not as good as pairing me with myself, right? So most of the time it's done with yourself or whatever the units are, whatever the experimental units are. Okay.
So when you're doing the treatment with, just yourself,
Mhm.
will we still count the randomization?
Yes, right there. Randomization is still used. Randomization, let's use a different color. Randomization is still used to determine who gets which treatment if you're paired with somebody else, or which treatment is given first if you're paired with just yourself. Okay, so it just depends on what the experiment is. Okay, we didn't. Here's the big thing that you guys will probably like. We do not need to sketch an outline for this guy. No outline needed for this guy because it's way too complicated. Because if you're being paired with yourself, you're essentially doing the experiment. Here, I'm just doing the experiment with 25 and 25. If I was going to do match pair, it'd be a lot more data that I would need to analyze. And how that goes is just way too complicated. So for match pair, you do not need to do an outline. You only responsible for write-up. Okay. Randomization, where and when, where and how does it take place? Replication numbers, control, what are you comparing? And how are you going to know which one? How am I going to know which one wins? Okay. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same experiment we just finished with yesterday, except we're going to do it match pairwise. We're going to do it with match pair. So if you skip this one and go to the next one, it's the same exact everything. Top of the third page. Okay. It's the same exact experiment, word for word. The only thing that's changed is this part right here. That's the only thing that's changed. People will use less water in showers if they can't control how hot the water gets. There are two types of showers. One allows water to get as hot as they like. The other only allows water at a certain temperature, 120 degrees Fahrenheit, which is usually hot enough for most people. Okay, we still have 100 people. 50 are men, 50 are women. The difference is the design is a little different. We're not going to do block design. We're going to do match pair design. Okay, so we don't need to draw an outline, but we need to explain how each of these things are going to take place. We're still going to have randomization. We're still going to have replication. We're still going to have control. Since we're not required to draw a picture, we need to be a little more detailed though, because we don't have the luxury of looking at a picture, right? Here, we didn't need to be as detailed because people could look at the picture. We don't have a picture on this one, so we have to be a little more detailed in our explanation. Okay, so let's start with randomization. Okay, so with match pair, you have two options. I can pair people who have a similar characteristic or characteristics, right? The chances that these 100 people are brother and sister or twins or cousins, or it's very low, right? It doesn't say anything about them being related. If it said we have 100 sets of brothers or 100 sets of sisters, okay, just match them up with their brother, match them up with their sister, perfect. But it doesn't say that, right? It just says 100 people who just exercised. So we could match up people based on a characteristic besides gender. Well, they all exercised. So I can't match up people who exercise because all 100 exercised. So I'm going to get them, I need to get them in pairs. So you have two options. I can get a pair of people, two, or I can get a pair using yourself. Compare your data with your data. Now, like I said, if I have 100 random people, like it's like you guys here, everyone looks different. Everyone has differences, right? That's just people, right? If I was to pair you up, it wouldn't be that good because you guys have differences. There's differences between everyone, right? No one in the class is, as far as I know, no one's related in the class. Even if you were related, I don't share a lot. There's not a lot of things I share with my cousins, So that one is kind of hard to do unless you have identical twins or unless you have brothers or sisters or whatever. The one that's more common is you pair them up with yourself because no one matches yourself better than yourself. Okay, so let's do match pair. Everybody matches up with themselves. Okay. So before we even put pencil to paper, let's get a picture in our mind. We don't have to draw a picture, but let's get a picture of our mind of what this is going to look like. I have 100 people. I'm going to pair them up with themselves. So really, I'm going to run the experiment how many times? No more than that. 100 for, yeah. Every person is going to go through both treatments, right? So all 100 are going to go through it once in one shower and then once in the other shower, right? And then I'm going to compare the data from the same person, right? Okay, so like I said, there's different ways to do it. We have to do randomization though. So where could randomization take place? There needs to be randomization to be an experiment. A well-designed experiment needs randomization. So where is randomization going to take place? If every person is going to do both treatments, right, which is both showers, how can we do randomization? There you go. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, that's a good idea. So let's say I'm being paired against myself. I'm ready. I just exercised. I'm ready to go in the shower. Somebody has to decide which shower I go to, and they have to have a random process. Okay, so let's write that down. Randomization is going to take place. Will take place to determine which shower is used first. Okay, that's how we're going to determine. So it's going to be used to determine, I'm ready to take a shower. Which shower do I go into? There has to be some sort of system. Okay, there has to be some sort of system to tell me, oh, you're going to go to shower 1. You're going to go to shower 2. What system would work? Let's try to come up with a system we've never used before. So calculators, tables, yeah. That's the one I was thinking, right? Flip a coin. Heads means shower 1, tails means shower 2. You flip a coin, go to shower 1. The next time I come around, though, they're not going to flip the coin, right? They're just going to send me to the other shower. Okay, so let's write that down. We'll flip a coin to determine which shower to assign first. We can say heads, treatment 1, tails, treatment 2. Okay. So I buy it the first day, I go in. Okay, I'm ready to take a shower. Okay, flip a coin, heads, go to shower 1. Okay. Next day I come back, Just exercise again. Now I'm ready. Are they going to flip a coin again? No, because I've already done one of them, right? So they have to take note of that and say, nope, you're going to go to shower 2. Okay? That's randomization. There's a randomization process there. Okay? When it's taking place and what it looks like. Okay?
Does it say anywhere in the system that we're repeating it twice, or is it just one?
What do you mean repeating it twice?
Oh, no, you are something else.
Okay. All right. So let's do replication. Let me get some space here. Okay, replication. Replication is numbers, right? So we're going to explain how many number we have and how we're going to pair them up. How many times we're running the experiment. Okay? So 100 men and women paired with each other. 100 men and women will be paired with each other. All 100 will go through both treatments. All 100 will go through both treatments. So if all 100 go through both treatments, you have 200 people doing this. Before, we only had 25 and 25, 50 for men and then 50 for women, right? So we're doing this more. So it's going to take a little bit more time to do this. This method of design. Okay. Control. We could say control group. You can use a control group. You can say control group is the nozzle, the adjustable heat. Okay. So control group is the, so essentially each person is in the treatment group and in the control group. Okay. That's why this one's different. Before, we've never seen that. We've either seen you've been in one group or the other. Now everybody is in both groups. Okay. So control group is adjustable shower, adjustable heat shower. Okay. How are we going to know? What are we going to do to answer the question? Who takes longer? What are we going to do? What's going to be at the end of the two arrows coming together? The outline we didn't have to draw. What's going to be there? Comparing shower times. We could do that. Compare shower times. For who? Compare whose shower time with whose shower time? Only with yourself. If I'm doing it and you're doing it, I'm not going to compare my times with your times. Those are separate. I'm only comparing my times with my times. So compare shower times of each subject for both treatments. Or for both treatments. Or for treatment and control. You can say both treatments, it's okay. So you're just going to get a bunch of this time minus this time, right? I just want to know the differences. So you're going to get a bunch of differences. That's the only difference. That's the only thing here. Okay? You're just going to get a bunch of differences in times. Okay? And then you're going to look at all the differences and see what's going on. Okay? Is one taking longer than the other? Are they about the same? Are they close to 0 if I subtract them? Right? Okay? So yeah, that's match pair. That is match pair. That's the last type of design. It's a type of block, but it's different in that you're matched with yourself. So essentially it's a block because in this one I had 100 blocks. Where is it? Where is it? Skip it. So this guy here, it's a type of block design because I did 100 blocks. Each of them, so like the last one I did yesterday, that one had 2 blocks, right? 50 women, 50 men. This one would have 100 blocks. Everybody would have their own because they're being compared with each other. Okay, that's the difference. Why? That's why how they're similar, but they are different. They are different. Match pair is kind of its own thing. Okay. Okay, so 2 more. We got 2 more that I want you guys to do. I have 2 more I want you guys to do. This one's a brand new one. There's one that's based on block. So you have to create a block design like we did yesterday. And then the same setup, you're going to do match pair. Okay? This is what I want you to do first. Start with block design. I don't want you to put any paper, pencil to paper yet. I want you to think this out. What is this going to look like? So what I want you to do is talk about it with the person that's next to you, nearest you, behind you, someone that's close to you. What is that going to look like? Start with block. What is block going to look like? Once you guys have an idea, then you can start writing. Once you do that, what is match pair going to look like, right? Because a lot of times you don't have a picture in your head and then you start writing. And then if you don't have a clear picture in your head, it's not going to make sense when it hits paper. You have to have a clear picture of your head, what it looks like first. So that helps to talk it out. Okay. So what I want you to do is talk about what the designs are going to look like. Once you're good with that, then you can start writing. Okay. That's what I want you to do. I'll give you guys some time to do that. So we'll start with talking. Block and match pair. Okay. All right. So let's take a look. Okay. So you don't have to have exactly the same thing I do, but you have to address everything I addressed. Okay. So does your design have to look exactly like mine? No. But you have to address certain things. Watch, I even forgot something right here. Forgot to put number, forgot to put RA. 25 people, 25 people. And then random assignment here, random assignment there. Okay. So this is what mine's going to look like. They want me to block based on whether they've eaten. These people have eaten frozen pizza before in their life. So the 50 who have never eaten frozen pizza, I'm going to compare their results. I'm going to compare their taste test results, how they tasted or how they liked the frozen versus the pizzeria pizza. Okay. So 50 RA, 25 and 25. Treatment 1 is the pizzeria. Treatment 2 is the frozen pizza. If you have those reversed, it's okay. And then I'm going to compare taste test results. So part of my process is a taste test. I'm going to explain what that taste test is going to look like later. So here's the big thing. I have students who look at mine and look at theirs and say, oh yeah, it's the same, when it's not the same. And then they get to the test and they keep doing the same thing. And then they get it marked wrong. Okay. So right now, there's no penalty if you need to add something or take it away, right? But if I see this every time. I see this every time because when we take the test, it's the same thing I see on their notes, on their homework assignments, and it's still wrong. And I'm like, it's not what, and then, so you might think something's insignificant. You might think RA is, oh, I forgot that. It is significant. Okay. It's going to cost you on a test. You're going to lose a point or two. Okay. The amount of people here, right? So be deliberate when you're doing these things. Okay. Because it might not seem like a big deal, but it could be the difference between an A and a B on a test. 1 point could be the difference. And if you missed RA here, you'd get docked a point. It's not that big of a deal, but when you're trying to get an A, it is a big deal because you need every point you can get. Okay. So make sure when you're going through this that, you're taking that into account. Okay. So that's the 50 people who have never eaten frozen pizza before. The 46 who have eaten frozen pizza. Okay, again, see, I'd lose a point right there because I didn't have RA here. Okay. Same treatment groups, treatment 1 pizzeria, treatment 2 frozen pizza. Then I'm going to compare their taste test results. So I'm not going to compare if someone has never eaten frozen pizza. I'm not going to compare how they perceive the pizza compared to someone who has eaten frozen pizza. Was it 96? So there were 96 total, right? 50 of whom are here. So that means there's 46 others. Yeah, 46 others who are, I'm guessing, the pizza people who have eaten frozen pizza before. Okay. So it's got to have two. You got to have two groups, at least two groups. So if we use 96, then I wouldn't have another group, right? It's blocked. It's blocked based on whether you've eaten pizza before, frozen pizza, or whether you never have eaten frozen pizza in your life. Okay. So if I use 96 here, there's going to be no one else for the other group. Okay. Okay. So randomization. I know where it's done. I have to explain how I did it. So the 46 and the 50. This is what I said. I'm going to number each person in each group. If you've never eaten frozen pizza, you're going to get a 1 through 50. If you have eaten frozen pizza, you're going to get a 1 through 46. So I have two separate systems. Okay. How can I do it with one system? Well, you can say this. You can number everyone 1 to 96 and do it that way. That's just one. You just have to do randomization once, right?
Is it okay if you wrote down 2 systems, or do I have to do 1 system?
So how many systems do I have? So is it okay to do 2 systems? Yes, I would have written it down if it's not okay. Okay. So if you want to just do randomization once, I just want to do this once. Okay. Number one, everyone 1 to 96, and then go from there. Whenever your 25 up here fill in, the rest are here. So the first, so like for example, if I have one system, if I do one system from 1 to 96, I pick a number. First number is 12. Who is that person? They've never had pizza in their, they've never had frozen pizza in their life. Okay, they're going to be up here. Pick the next number. They're down here. Okay, you're up here. So whichever one, we know numbers, we just need to fill it in. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to do them separately. 1 to 50 and 1 to 46. So I'm going to use the calculator to randomly assign 1 to 1, everyone to one of 2 treatment groups. Okay? So if you're one of these 46 people, you're either going to be here or you're going to be here. If you're one of these 50 people, you're either going to be up here or you're going to be down there. Okay? Yeah, you just have to explain who that is in the control write-up. Okay? Okay, so let me continue. That's my randomization. I forgot something. What did I forget? I'd lose a point here. Not how, because I have how here. What did I miss?
You didn't address, you have to outline. Like the first 25 get treatment, the second 25 get
That one, yeah, I could have missed, but something a little more. So there are 2 things when randomization, or how you're going to randomize, and what else? Where you're going to randomize. I never said where I'm going to randomize. I should have said something. This one kind of says it, but I should have said something like randomization will take place to determine which treatment group the people go to. This one kind of says that, but it doesn't really say that. Okay, so again, I would have gotten a point off there. Okay, all right. No one pack up. If I'll stop if I hear pack up. This will be done in a minute, but if not, it can go 3. Okay. Replication. 50 people who have never eaten pizza before, frozen pizza, 46 people who have. Okay. Do I have everyone's focus? Jasmine, phone. We'll wait for your phone away. Thank you. Okay, so control. If you have a control group, this is where you explain my control group is. So what I'm going to do is I have a Likert system. A Likert system, you've all done this before. You rate on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 to 5, 1 to 20, 1 to 100, right? My Likert scale goes from 1 to 10. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give everyone, after they've eaten the pizza, each person will be blindfolded. They're going to be given a piece of pizza. They're going to eat the pizza. Afterwards, I'm going to say, hey, what do you rate it? 1 to 10. 1 being the worst pizza you've ever had, 10 being the best pizza you ever had. I'm going to do that. So everyone will have a whole bunch of numbers. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the average score for each treatment. So the average person who ate the pizzeria pizza, what was their average score? The average person who had the frozen pizza, what was their average score? And compare their average. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Match pair. Match pair. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because we're running low on time, but I would compare everyone to themselves. So what I would do is I would blindfold them, give them one piece of pizza, flip a coin. Okay, you're going to get the store-bought pizza first. Here, eat this pizza. Not tell them, and then give them the other piece of pizza. Okay, and then do the same thing. Okay, what do you rate that pizza? What do you rate the other pizza? So you're doing it on your own. Okay, so again, no outline, but I would have to describe that. If I read it, or if you read it back to yourself and you're like, that doesn't really make sense, or you have a question, that's not good. Okay, so make sure you reread this to yourself.